What's up, guys? I want to thank you so much for checking out my YouTube channel. We are going to start doing contests every single month with lucky winners and giving away Young Ambition clothing along with some other really cool prizes. So make sure you hit the subscribe button below. You have to be subscribed to be eligible to win. And I'm excited to continue giving you game-changing, relevant, tactical content that inspires you, challenges you to think different, and really helps you live a life on your terms. So subscribe below and we'll see you guys soon. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Peter Voogd, and welcome to our YouTube channel and welcome to the YEL 2.0 podcast, where we help you live a life and a business on your terms. And what a relevant topic we're going to cover today: how to dominate social media and streamline your content. This is something that I don't see enough of, and it's been an absolute revolutionary tool that we've done the past year and a half, 2 years. And it's something that will save you a lot of time, money, and energy. Because I used to be so overwhelmed with social media that it caused me to have inaction and it caused me to lose a lot of time, money, and energy. So I want to share this with you. Thanks again for subscribing, and I'd love for you to share any thoughts, any comments you have in terms of breakthroughs you learned from this. Let's get some banter in the chat. I'll be in the chat connecting with you guys as well. So how to dominate content and how to streamline social media. First step is first. You have to figure out who you are in the marketplace. You have to figure out what point of view and what polarizing content or messages you have for people, right? Now, if you don't understand the power of content, if you don't understand the power of going online, if you don't understand the power of social media, you will be left behind. Some of the companies our country was founded on are going out of business because they're not adapting and adjusting. And we now live in an adapt or die economy. So it's either go online now and get ahead of the game and start creating real content that engages, or be forced to later when the market is overcrowded and it's going to be harder than ever to rise above the noise. So you have to figure out who you are. There's three types of people, right? Okay, there's results, there's the role model, and there's the researcher. So you want to figure out what you want to be known for. Are you going to be known for the results you've actually gotten? Like if you're teaching sales, have you done millions in sales? If you're teaching social media marketing, have you done millions in social media marketing? Have you actually got results? Now, some people haven't got results, but they're a role model because they're a leader or because they're polarizing and inspiring. Ideally, you want results and role model, but if you just want to be a role model that inspires, you can do that too. Also, you could be a researcher where maybe you're not a role model, maybe you haven't gotten results yourself, but you've done so much research and due diligence that you've become a master at a specific topic. Now, the ideal situation in terms of dominating social media is having all three. Have you got results? Have you become a role model in that field? And have you done the proper research and due diligence? You need to figure out which one you are before you really dive into dominating social media, okay? So figure that out. Next thing, what are your main messages that you want to get across? What are the riffs, I call them, or your main messages that you can just speak at any time and go off on, right? So for mine, one of them was 6 months to six figures. Now there's a book on that, right? Know yourself. Now matters more than ever. Right? Living a world-class life. Some of you know my main messages. You have to figure out what are the main messages. How do you want to be viewed in the marketplace? Go ahead and write a couple main messages that you can spit fire on at any moment. If someone's like, what do you believe in terms of blank? And you can just spit fire for 5 or 10 minutes. There's a lot of main messages I have that if someone asks me a question, I can rip off that for 15, 20 minutes from the heart, from the gut, and from experience. A lot of people these days are so scripted, and people can see through that, where they have to have notes. There's people that have reached out that said, if you're going to interview for your podcast or for your academy, I need you to ask these exact questions and don't go off topic. I don't want to be that person that regurgitates the same stuff. That's why it's important to have main messages, but also be able to go off on specific subjects, and that takes experience and it takes practice. But when you figure out what you are, and then you figure, okay, what are the main messages I want to get across? What frustrates me and pisses me off about my industry? Whether it's you don't like traditional education, whether you don't like the banking system. When I was interviewing Robert Kiyosaki, he was talking about his enemies and what he goes against, whether it's school systems, banking systems, whether it's specific people, right? You need to have an enemy, but you also need to have main messages that you want to get across that not just add value to people, not just shift people's emotional frequencies, but inspire them, and if they take action, gets them real results. So for me, one of my main messages is now matters. Most people spend the first half of their life saying they're too young, and the second half saying they're too old. Most live on someday I'll, and they're always like, someday I'll become successful, someday I'll invest in myself, someday I'll go online, someday I'll become an entrepreneur, someday I'll quit my 9-to-5. And guess who they're on someday I'll with? All the other people that say someday. Right? And someday never comes. So the number one thing I've realized when talking to successful people is they have a now matters mentality. Now matters more than ever. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now matters. And if you respect now, your regret lessens. If you do things now your future self thanks you for, okay, you'll have less regret in the moment and less regret when you're older. So that's just one riff, right? Knowing myself, the importance of knowing myself. And when you really know yourself, opinions become irrelevant, right? I have a message on how to be a world-class game changer and the importance of financial freedom, but the importance of autonomy and freedom. So for example, if someone's like, what's your take on like lifestyle, living a great life? Well, if you've built $100 million business, but you don't have a lifestyle you're inspired by, you did it all wrong. Right? So these are main messages I can spit at any time. And some are inspirational, some are tactical, right? But you got to figure those out. So literally pause this, maybe even right below. I'd love to hear what your main messages are you want to get across to the world. Okay? I love that. Okay, now here's the big key. So once you get your main messages, now we have to figure out your main platform. You need to pick a main platform, okay, that you're consistent on every single week, every single month, and every single year. It can be a podcast. It can be a Facebook Live. It can be a YouTube Live. It can be a behind the scenes video of you in your office. It can be a video that you shoot that you upload to LinkedIn. It can be a community video in a Facebook Live group. Okay, it can be anything that you do consistently. Okay, let me explain why. Once you have your main platform, now you can branch off. Okay, so now once you have your main, let's use Facebook Live as an example. Okay, you do a Facebook Live every single week on a specific topic. Now it's time to streamline. You can break that up into IG, into YouTube video, into Facebook, into Twitter, into LinkedIn, into written content, right? And now one piece of content comes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of content. Now there's even more on each platform. You could do highlights. So here's an example. If we use YouTube, we did an interview with Robert Kiyosaki, okay? We then took the interview and we made a snippet for Instagram. We made a snippet, okay? We also made a swipe up for Instagram, 2 swipe ups, okay? We also made quote pictures. So there's 4. We made a video for YouTube. It was on YouTube. We then made a highlight video of his most controversial moments, which was, I think, 15 minutes. So there's 2. We made a Facebook Live from it. We used the highlight video on Facebook and his quotes. So there's 3 on Facebook. We also used a 2, I believe the limit for Twitter is 2 minutes and 20 seconds. We did 2 of those. We also posted these on LinkedIn, and we also have a written article coming out as well. So that's 1, 5, 7, 10, 12, 13, 14 pieces of content from one interview. Now, I could switch that up and I could say, okay, we do 1 podcast a week. I do a video podcast. This will be turned into a podcast. So this can also be podcast. You can turn this into an audio format. So some of you guys listening to my podcast, it was once a video. So we give people the option to watch a video or an audio. But it's important to understand you got to have a main platform, okay? So ours is YouTube and ours is also our podcast, okay? Now you can put these on all different platforms and you can figure out which ones stick and where your target market is. Now, there's a lot of tools to figure out what the lengths are. LinkedIn max is 10 minutes. Facebook, there's no limit. Twitter is 2 minutes and 20 seconds. IG for a snippet is 1 minute, and anything longer than that is an IGTV, right? Podcast you can make as long as you want. I choose to make ours 10 to 20 minutes of tactical, relevant information because I value people's times, and there's no time these days to listen to an hour podcast. And when I used to listen to podcasts, anything past 30 to 45 minutes, I used to realize that it was such a waste of time because they didn't give much tactics. It was storytelling, it was just ranting, and it wasn't strategic. So I don't like hour or 2 podcasts, just like I don't like 3-hour YouTube videos. I'm gonna make this 10 to 20 minutes because that's all you need to get some results in action, right? So main platform, figure out what avenues you wanna streamline and then start creating those. There's a lot of people that do this. There's apps that do this. I'm not going to make this a resource video. You guys can figure that out. But there's so many different things you can do when you have a main platform. And what this does is it forces you to be consistent and it forces you to step your game up. I always am doing a live mastermind call with my Game Changers Academy members every month, and I'm also doing a Facebook Live every month, and I'm also doing a live Q&A, and we also have a millionaire guest speaker every month, right? So it forces me to be on my game. So when we have a guest speaker, so we have 3 or 4 main platforms that also get transcribed and also get pushed out on different platforms. So we have so much content, and it's the content game now. Content is king. Marketing the content is queen, right? So main platform. I want to remind you not to forget the power of one. One Facebook Live viewer, 1 comment. I get chills thinking about this because when I started out, I remember thinking, I only have like 1 person watching me. There's only 3 comments. But I realized that if you take care of those 1 to 3 people, they will become raving fans, tell more people. If you cannot be loyal to 1 raving fan, you're never gonna reach 1,000, and you'll definitely never reach 100,000 or 1,000,000. So don't forget the power of a person. People are people. And if you can respect the 1 fan and engage with them, it will continue to grow if you do this, right? Now, when you're creating content, a couple reminders. First, it's not about you. I get this all the time. I feel nervous. I look weird on camera. I don't know if I want to do it. I feel weird. I'm not good. I don't have Who cares about you? They're always like, I. It's not about you. It's about the audience. It's about your customers. It's about those you impact and those who need you and those you inspire. So who cares if you don't feel like it? The last thing I was thinking about when I created this is what I felt like. The first thing I was thinking about is maybe this saving a business, or maybe this saving people some time. I now have a son who's 6 months, almost 7 months, which is crazy to me. And I know the power of time and the power of being present with family. And I just can't stand seeing people work 100 hours a week because they don't understand how to streamline. So the last thing on my mind is, how do I look on camera? I don't know if I feel like this. The first thing on my mind was, how can I help people? So get off yourself and get on purpose. That's the first step. Okay, next, be I can't even spell, polarizing. Okay, be polarizing. What that means is you might offend some people. The worst thing you can be on camera is boring. The worst thing you can be is like everybody else, okay? You gotta be polarizing and sometimes a little bit controversial, right? When you're polarizing, you might offend some people, but you're gonna sharpen the relationship and strengthen the relationship with those that really care about you, and those are gonna be raving fans for life. You cannot name someone that reached a legendary status, someone that became a game changer in their field. You cannot name one person on the planet that is a game changer that some people don't like. You cannot name one. If no one has any problem with you, you're not big enough and you're not polarizing enough. So the reality is, be polarizing. Understand it's not about you. It's about the message you're trying to portray to your target audience, okay? So realize that when someone says Donald Trump, someone says Kanye West, someone says Elon Musk, someone says Tony Robbins, someone says Jamie Foxx, someone says Denzel Washington. It's funny. I didn't think that, here's a cool experiment. I didn't think people didn't like Denzel Washington. Because in my head, I'm like, how could you not like Denzel Washington? But then I'm like, he's so big, he has to have haters. There was a video, he talks about he gets death threats. I'm like, how can someone who never is in the news, does nothing wrong, just strictly acts, get death threats? Because he's big enough. He's polarizing, right? You're gonna get people to love you and hate you. Focus on the people that love you and understand hating is a reflection of an insecurity, and that's it. So be polarizing and also be compelling and be controversial. But if you can do this and create different types of content on different mediums, different platforms, and see what sticks, that's when you're gonna really start creating a fan base that's loyal, that loves you. And when it comes to content, it's okay to continue posting. I like to tell people, repost your winners. So if content is doing great, repost it. Facebook, you do a quote and it does well, 6 months later, repost it. You do a video on Instagram, repost it 6 months later if it did well, right? Continue reposting content because you wouldn't believe all the new people that haven't seen the previous content. And it's not about how your profile looks. It's not about you. It's about value to your audience. Whoever provides the most value to the marketplace in the next 6 months will dominate and get all the business. Now, once you start doing these things and you start creating raving fans, then you can start beta testing and asking people, hey, what do you want to see more of? I would love to hear from you. What do you want to see more of me creating? Do you like this content? Do you like day in the life? Do you like behind the scenes? Do you like money content, social media content? I don't know. Do you like interviews that I do? Let me know below. I'd love to know. But then you can beta test and you can say, okay, what kind of course would you want to see? And you can create content based off your audience. Remember, your customers and your raving fans are the marketing geniuses. So the likelihood of the marketplace responding because you're guessing is unlikely, right? So this is why the power of creating raving fans is so amazing if you do it the right way. So let's simplify. Figure out who you are in the marketplace. What are your main messages? What's your main platform? Streamline those to all different other platforms. Don't forget the power of one. And if you understand the power of one, you'll reach millions eventually. It's not about you. Be polarizing, be controversial, be compelling, repost your winners. You do this consistently, you will see a massive spike in your content, in your engagement, in your likes, comments, followers, and in your overall online brand. Hope this helps. Once again, make sure you subscribe below and for more content. Also comment below anything that stood out and also comment what are some of your main messages. Appreciate you guys and we'll see you on the next video. Hey, what's up? And thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy this video and this content, make sure you hit the subscribe button below, put the notifications on, and I assure you, you'll love this content in these videos.